Hi and welcome to End Out. I'm Sula Windgassen, a health psychologist, a CBT therapist and an EMDR therapist. I work a lot with people with a range of different long-term health conditions, and I work with a lot of women with endometriosis and adenomyosis. The question that I'm going to be answering today is, how do I talk to my partner about having endometriosis? And I guess this depends on a range of different factors. First of all, it depends on what your intention is. Why do you want to talk to your partner about this? Is this to help them care for you better? Is it just to fill them in because they have absolutely no idea about what endometriosis is? Or is it because there's a specific problem that's arising in your relationship as a result of the endometriosis? You also want to check in with how you're feeling. There's a lot of difficult things that come up when you have endometriosis. And if you're feeling particularly depleted, or if there's been lots of difficult things that have been happening as a result of endo, you're more likely to feel sensitized or triggered to things and reactions that another person might have. When having the conversation, there are some clear, easy principles to try and stick to in order to help you with this conversation. And the first is being really clear about that intention. What do you want to get out of this conversation? And sharing that intention with your partner at the outset. That's going to set them up to understand where you're coming from and what kind of expectations you have. People often have the automatic assumption that they're being told off or that they've done something wrong, and that can put people in defensive modes and it doesn't contribute to a productive conversation. So if they feel like they know where you're coming from, it's more likely to go amicably and helpfully. The next principle is telling your partner that you would just like the space to speak for a bit, and then you can explore ideas together afterwards. And this can help with preemptive interruptions where somebody might not be quite understanding and want clarification, and that can heighten emotion on your end if you feel like you're not being listened to. The next principle is to be aware that this is a dialogue, not a monologue. So as much as it's important for you to share what's going on for you and any support that you're trying to elicit from your partner, it's equally as important to understand how they're experiencing what's going on for you and any areas that they feel that they could do with support or help with. And that doesn't necessarily need to come from you, but if you're on the same page, then you guys can problem solve it together. So for example, it's a common experience when a loved one is suffering that you withdraw or that you try and problem solve and fix it. And that can add into overwhelm or difficult dynamics because the other person doesn't feel heard. And if you can both identify that together and agree what might be a good alternative in that moment that suits you both and is within both of your capacity, that's going to help you in those situations when they arise down the road. And lastly, remember that this is one dialogue, one conversation, but there's going to be many conversations. Learning and growth is an ongoing process where we gather some knowledge, test it out, see what works, see what doesn't work, come back, regroup, reflect, try something slightly updated. Leave your questions. We'll keep exploring together, elicit whatever support you might need on this platform, and I'll see you again next time.